thank you very much for coming along. Really lovely to see you all here. I can't see you all here though, but that's okay. I just want to make it clear that you guys are giving or kind of investing some time in this session. Now, if you are able to turn your video on, like Darko, thank you very much. If you're able to turn your camera on, you will actually get more out of the session. So it's up to you. You can leave it off, but if you turn it on, we can actually see your facial expressions. We can see if you're laughing or your kids are laughing. So if you're able to turn on, that's great. If you can't, that's okay. Thank you all very much for coming here and taking some time out. General protocol we roll with, or a general guideline, is to try to keep yourself on mute in case there's background noise, kids, sirens, whatever. And whenever you turn your mute button off, we will see it. And perhaps Ying will stop for a question. So video on if possible. Wonderful. Great to see you, Camilla. Okay, Darko. And I'm very excited because I actually met Ying, I think it was it January?
Yeah, January. When you were still in Shanghai.
Yes, actually it might have even been before January. But I remember having I remember one of the first times we sat down and had a real phone call, and I was like, oh my God, this Ying is amazing. I'm not sure if she's going to share much of her personal journey, but her personal story, it's like epic. It's amazing. It's really empowering too, like just hearing where she's been through and what she's doing now and where she's going. It's just like, when I hear what she's doing, it's like, if she can do it, anyone can. So Miss Ying, you're co-host, so you can start your slideshow, whatever you please, okay?
Okay. Thank you, Adrian. Everybody can hear me clearly, right? So today I'm going to share you guys with my slides. Everyone can see. Okay. So I would like to start how to deal with negative energy. Have you dealt with people are so negative when you encounter them that you feel they almost pour your energy down? Should I meet fire with fire? Should I be positive? Just ignore it. How do I deal with someone who is really start affecting my mood? I'm going to share some tips to raise your vibration and not let that affect you. Today, I am going to show you how to navigate negative people. My name is Xing. If some of you don't know, I'm a holistic life coach and helping people to free from their past, change their present, and get what they really want, to live an abundance and fulfilled life. My specialty is to create self-value, and you can also find my videos on Blibibi and WeChat. It's a great honor that Adrian invited me today to spend a lovely Sunday with all my dear fellow coaches and my friends. You guys are amazing to be here. I hope you enjoy this session. Okay, but before that, I am going to ask you questions. Okay, let me stop this first. So I know we all have negative people in our life. Your mom, your boss, your professor, your client, or your date who complain all the time or be critical about you or other behaviors that make you feel very hard to handle. Of course, negativity will pull you away, but how we can control our energy. I would like somebody to share your experience in one sentence and who in your life you find very difficult to handle, and how does that make you feel? And remember, we are here today not to talk about the problems, but the solutions. Okay, who want to share their experience with me?
I want to share my experience here in Italy because now I'm in Milan. So there's like the second lockdown going on. And among my Italian friends, there were people who complain about the current situation, and also my Chinese friends who complain about the Italians who don't obey the rules. So for me, it's more about setting boundaries, and sometimes even telling them that it's not very helpful to complain about the stuff, and because I know that sometimes fundamentally they're not negative people, but maybe they're just going through some difficult moments. So for me, it's telling them my needs and setting boundaries.
Very good, very good. I heard you say like I understand where they're coming from, but it's you said that, but I set the boundaries, but that how does that make you feel when they're complaining?
When they're complaining, I feel frustrated and upset because
Okay.
I myself am going through the same problems, like worrying about the Italians not obeying the rules, and because it's about our safety, our security, so and about things like social life. So for me, it's very frustrating to hear these things, and yeah, so I'm trying to first see my emotions, then for some friends I can tell them about that. Then yeah, I think if
Okay.
they're real friends, they can understand.
Yeah. Thank you for your sharing. But here I would like to just point out, because you also mentioned before, they're not really negative person, but what is really negative person? Actually, people being negative, that doesn't mean they're negative person. Anybody could be negative. Even positive person could have a moment in negative mood. And you also have negative mood sometimes, right? Like, for example, in this pandemic, like even very, very positive, outgoing people, they will feel like, oh my God, they will have this moment. And you will also have this moment in other kind of situations. Like imagine you just had a bad day, you just had a big argument with your boss, and then your car got broken, you just got home, you find out you lost your keys, and you shout to your neighbors. That sounds familiar? Everybody probably done that before. Because like, and maybe you don't want them to think you are an active person, right? And also here, I would like, at very first beginning, I would like to point out, for all behaviors is the best choice currently available. And all behavior has a positive intention. And let's talk more about this later. I want to ask, have you, besides setting the boundaries, like is anybody of you were thinking about, okay, I will never talk to this person anymore, like just get rid of these people? Does anybody have this mind coming up? Raise your hand, let me see if you have. Oh, Adrian, Camila, the rest of you, I cannot see your face. Your video is not on. Nowadays, it's very popular to say we just get rid of negative people, like never around them, just be around with positive people all the time. But what happens when the people who's on negative energy is your spouse, your brother, your sister, or your colleagues who sit right next to you talking every day? What do you do when in real life, like not everybody is perfect, because nobody will be perfect. There will always be people who are out there and will be critical and harsh on you and try to find every little thing they can to comment about you. Or they're always complaining about the pandemic, the news, what their government do. And this energy just makes you want just to repel. Somehow you can't get rid of these negative people in your life. That's just not realistic. And also personally, I don't like this idea. It seems a little bit weak-willed. It's wonderful we have this new modern age. We can meet a lot of people, especially not in Milan, not you guys, but in Shanghai now, we still can meet people. We can easily to find friends who share the same value with you. But thinking about just never talk to my friends from my childhood or my parents, it's just make me uncomfortable. So how should we handle it? Let's dive in a bit. I would like to start my first point with a quote that nobody can make you think whatever you don't want to think, said by Viktor Frankl. He survived from concentration camp during Nazi Germany. You are a free will person. What happens is sometimes when you are all foggy, you get into the state where you think that somebody else controls your energy. That's why you search all the time how to handle negative people. And that is why you are here today. As if you think negative people control your energy. But Viktor Frankl, he survived from Auschwitz. He says they can physically torture me, but they can't make me to think what I won't want to think. You have the free will around your mind. That's the only place really could accept or reject any ideas. If you want to use the law of attraction, you've got to realize you have a conscious mind. If you want to create something in your life, someone come to you, says, oh, you shouldn't do this, and you should get married before 30. You're not as successful as man, or you're not confident enough, you're too strong as a woman. If you buy in their words, you're not conscious. Your mind, it's a real place that accept or reject any ideas. If you stay conscious, you could say, oh, that's not my part of my belief system. You decide what you believe. That is why build your own belief system is super important. Also connect more with your intuitions. I usually like to encourage people to do meditation, keep a journal. We have negative people in our life. We think that their energy is going to affect our belief system. It's a limit belief itself. That's not the way it works. You have the ability to think whatever you want to think, regardless of any energy outside of you. What do you guys think? But that's what we know, and that you will say, oh, that's what we say, right? Is anybody like listen to this? Is anybody feel like, yeah, that does make sense, but how to do it? Or why is it so hard to do? Anybody feel why is it hard to do?
Well, I have a couple of questions actually. I totally agree with that we are in control of our mind and our thoughts, but sometimes our mind can set up a prison for ourselves. And in those situations, for example, earlier this year, I found myself like stuck in my own prison, and I simply couldn't get out of it. And in those situations, how could you like take back that control?
Very good. I like your question. I think that's the key point. That's which is this point I will come to later, but I can share with now. Like as you said, when negative people comment something about you, you've been triggered. And the problem is there. You set the prison. You already feel that. You already feel that inside of you. They're just mirrors. They're showing you that there are unsolved issues in your life. So there doesn't exist. It's your own present. That's very good awareness. You already know what is happening in your side. You know, you said that, oh, it's a prison I built for myself. And by awareness that you already solved the present itself, because you know it's a present. You build it for yourself. I am build it. And you also can tie off by yourself. Once you have the awareness, like, oh, it's actually me, I'm thinking that way. You already have the key to unlock the prison.
Yeah, but sometimes I find like myself split as if I was split in half. Like my mind was battling and wrestling with my emotions. So is it like a daily maintenance to have this kind of awareness?
I think I will ask you, is it kind of daily practice to maintain your self-awareness? I want to ask you, and I also want to ask all the audience on the floor, do you think it's a very important practice for yourself to have your self-awareness? Anybody? Anybody else want to talk?
Come on, Lara. Lara's about to click her button. She's like, I want to share.
Oh yeah, I'll share. Yeah, I definitely do think that it is a daily practice that you should be aware. And in order to achieve awareness, this is just how I've done it all these years, is like just avoiding the negative talk and just seeing, where it's coming from, and that it's not a reflection of who you are, and that just being true to who you are, self-love, that kind of thing, to become more aware, I guess.
Oh, very good, very good. That's not what you said. It's not true. That's what I do as well. Like when somebody comes at me says with negativity, I send them compassion. I say, oh yes, I understand where you come from, but I don't believe what you said. I don't believe that the world is scarcity. I don't believe it's important to focus on activity. I don't believe that people do things wrong. I don't believe that economic is ruined by the pandemic. I don't believe you say there's no true love outside. I don't believe you say I'm not beautiful. I don't believe you say I'm not successful. I just don't believe what other people say X, Y, or Z. Because we as a person, sometimes we forget like the power inside of ourselves. You could decide what enters your mind. What often happens is we lose and give up our free will to sourcing outside of ourselves. And you forget no matter what, nobody can make you think what you don't want to think. You can reject what others said. You can, when you want to do something big, you want to pursue some dream job, study abroad, you don't want to get married, and those people will always come to you and say, oh, that's impossible, you're never going to make it. And you can say, no, I don't believe you're saying I am going to make it. That power comes from inside, and this inside need daily practice, daily self-awareness. Like, what do I want? What do I need? What is my dream life? Who am I? This is something like really your own job, and it's a pure inner job, because no one else can do it for you but yourself. Nobody can understand yourself more than yourself. And as Camilla said, what somebody brings out of you was already there. Unless you feel that way, what we really need to work is actually ourselves, which is inner here. That they can affect you is because you allow them to. You allow them to. You really give people the permission to affect your mood and energy. And nobody can do that without your authority first, without your accepting the invitation. So ultimately, you have the power to take it back. If someone said something to you that you are really angry, you are mad, that means you just got triggered. Those negative people are just, as I said, just mirrors, just showing you, oh, there are some traumas, there are some issues in your life, it have to be healed. If you feel hurt, that means you agree with them. You agree with them. If you don't agree with them, you wouldn't feel anything. Ultimately, you have the power, you have the key, so stop putting it up. Any questions here? Everybody follow?
Yeah, I'm just going to add one little thing, and you just said something that's like a little light bulb. You know, when someone says something bad about you and it hurts you or it affects you, it means you agree on some level. On some level. So whenever someone's saying something bad about you, and you know, if it's just like if someone's calling you a man and you're a woman, it's clearly like, you know. But if they say you're a cheater or you're something, even though might not be cheating or whatever, or you know, and if you're reacting to it on some level, you know, on some level you're agreeing, right? Or on some level that's interesting. On some level.
Yeah. If you agree, that means like you feel that way. But then you have to look why you feel that way. And maybe it's a prison you built by yourself. We build a lot of prisons for ourselves. And then we also have the key to unlock it. And which lead to my second point is you are your own energy. Your energy is created by the thoughts that you give emotional credence. So whatever you focus on controls your energy level. Also, whatever you focus on create your future life. You are the one project. You are the one could reject people's ideas. You are the one as your own energy field. When negative people around you, a friend, a family member, or a roommate, stay calm. Stay calm. If they judge you, you're man or woman, they judge you, stay calm. Don't try to understand why they behave like that. Just send them love. Otherwise, the negativity energy is going to affect you. I give you a small example. When my ex got together with me, he just broke up with his ex-girlfriend. We have so much intentions. I was always thinking, why he's always put his ex between us? It's not fair. Why he carried all his scars into our new relationship? Why he's always yelling at me, blaming me, and to have so much expectations on him? Why he put words in my mouth? I can't believe he said this. I was right. I knew I was right. He's not good for me. I immediately moved to his negativity vibe. So when somebody said something like not nice to you, you can send them love. You don't feel offended. It's very, very easy to jump into the negativity if you don't have a positive prayer for that person. Then what happens is you move on to their energy field. You focus on why they're wrong. What's wrong with them? Why they're stupid? It's their fault. This is so annoying. Why couldn't they be normal? Why this is always happening to me? Does this all sounds very familiar? As soon as we do that, dropped out of our energy, we move to their energy field. How to stop this? By, can I send them love? Leave the situation. What I usually do is I will go to my room or I go to somewhere just alone and focus on yourself, your positive thing, just for 1 minute and send them love. What happens is you clear that energy. It's never your fault. It's nothing about you. And you move back into the vibration that you and capturing for yourself in your life. Realize that you are your own energy. Like if you focus on what's wrong with them, you're focusing on them. That means you are disengaged with yourself. That means you are not connected with yourself. Now I'm back to my life. Like I have many friends and I work on my nice coaching community and my life is happy. But my ex is still blame others, not me, like blame the others, like to put pressure on him. Anybody have any resonate about this one? You are your own energy.
I'm actually thinking about what you just said about sending that person love. I think it's important that we can have compassion and empathy for that person, but from my personal experience, sometimes I found myself going too quickly into that kind of a compassion, but bypassing my own emotions. Because, for example, if that person invaded my boundaries and did things that hurt me, I could have a lot of emotions going on. And if I override them and just to go to forgiving them and having that, it's like spiritually bypassing that. And I wonder what are your thoughts about that?
First of all, nobody can hurt you if you don't allow them. They cannot hurt you. They can hurt you is because you give the power, let them hurt you. And second, it's normal that you feel like, oh, I'd be addicted. You try to rationalize them why they do this. They invade my boundaries. Oh, it's actually I don't strong enough. I didn't reject that. No, it's not. They didn't invade you. It's you let that boundary move.
Yeah, that makes sense. And what if the hurt is already caused? And what if I am already in those feelings and emotions that, I'm just wondering in that kind of situation.
Yeah, it's very important. It's actually my next point. You can actually accept where they are. Why you will feel difficult to forgive them? Because you still have expectations on people. Like you expect people to be good person, that they shouldn't do things like that. If you judge them, if you say, oh, if you judge them, you already move to their energy field. You already like lose your energy field. You already also are in negative mood. But if you accept them, like where did I say, oh, I understand where is it come from. I understand why you are thinking this, but that's not me. You forgive them to understand where they are, where does it come from, and really like give them compassion, send them love. That will help you like stay as grounded.
Yeah, I think that makes sense, because understanding where they're coming from and also seeing and hearing yourself is they can both exist.
Yeah, but understanding where they are coming from, that doesn't mean that doesn't mean you can judge them. Understand where they are coming from. It's like, oh, I know why you're thinking this way, but I understand where you are, but that's not me. There's space in between. There's space in between, which you can forgive them by not judging them. Oh, you think this way. It's, oh, you think of that. But without judging, without compassion, and with sending the love to them. I will talk more about this later in next point. Maybe you will feel more resonate. Anybody else want to share? Do you have any resonate? Darko, you didn't say anything today.
He has some very good shares in the chat window. He's got some very good stuff in the chat window.
I just shared in chat window.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
He says, setting healthy boundary is a very important for self-well-being. It is our obligation to protect our boundaries. Usually people tend to shrink our personal boundary. Ah, that's very good. That's actually a very nice reply to Camilla's boundaries issue. Very nice. Thank you, Darko. I didn't see that. I didn't check the chat box. Okay.
Yes. Our boundaries are very, very important psychological, characteristic. During our personal development, we're used to, we need to protect them.
Yes. But sometimes we forget. That's also okay. Sometimes
Yes.
we forget. Sometimes we give up our free mind. Sometimes we compromise. And also, like when you forget, actually, I would like to go a little bit deeper here. Actually, when you feel like, oh, I compromise, there's a little bit sense of self-blame. There's a little bit judgment towards yourself. It's actually not towards to the people who push the boundary. It's actually towards yourself. It's like, oh my God, I give up my boundaries. I backed off towards yourself, and that brings on trust, because like you feel like myself, I'm going to betray myself at any moment because I cannot to guard my boundaries. That actually the feelings is come from you. But what you can do is also to some compassion to yourself. Oh, it's okay. I learned something. What do I learn from this? Now, oh, I know. Next time, how do I hold my boundaries better? You learn something from it. Don't blame yourself. Don't critical to yourself, but with treat yourself with compassion and really, really love yourself unconditionally. This is also very important. So just a small add-on to Camila.
Yeah, I think that really answers my question, because what I found about myself is that I often go to judge myself for not having enough boundaries, for not having enough self-love and all this, self-development talk. So yeah, I think by seeing my emotions and understanding that this is part of human experience, I'm just learning having more compassion and forgiving myself first of all.
Yeah, that's very important, because we all do that. We all lose the boundaries. We all sometimes give up our free wills. We all do that. It's very important, like we are talking about don't judge other people, but we forget about don't judge ourselves and love ourselves no matter what. Even we do something wrong, it's okay. What do we learn from this? And we grow, we do better next time. Okay, let's continue. My third point is to keep yourself some space. If you have a negative mom, when the conversation starts to slip into the negative, pull yourself out. Mom, I have to go. I have to go have a drink with my friends. I need to go. My friend is waiting. Go to the situation already with the time frame. The result is you won't find yourself getting into the old thought patterns. 8 years ago, I was traveling with my parents in Switzerland because my mom said that I should get married with my ex at that time, which I just break up with him because I don't want to live a life like that anymore. I want to change my life. I want to live a different life. I want to find a new me. I was crying in the cable car while we are on our way top to the Jungfrau. It's the top of the Europe. I was crying. I was crying like terribly in the cable car. I was trying to figure out why this is happening to me. Why they're like this? Why they don't understand me? They will never change. My parents are so bad. They're not good parents. How they're wrong here and they're wrong here. And now I feel negative. Now I feel drained. Oh my God, I will never be able to break this pattern. You are triggered by the old pattern. And I completely forget how beautiful the snow mountains are. Those people, they may be the same, but you can choose. You really can choose to react differently. You can choose to not to be triggered by this old pattern. So I looked outside and put my hands on the cold window to feel the snow. And I tell her, no matter what you think, I'm not going to marry him. I want a different life now. Now I want to go ski in the mountains. So I did. I still enjoyed the view for the rest of my vacation. I didn't let myself stay there. I didn't stay there and draw myself like, oh my God, my parents are so bad. Oh my God, I will never have good parents. So how can I change my life? No, I didn't. I said no. I set the boundaries also, and I keep the space. You got your negative people in your life, like your dad, your boss, your ex, your old friends. But if you know you are at a challenge moment in your life, you don't feel strong enough, which is normal because life is up and down. You can't always be standing in the top of the mountains all the time. And then keep yourself some space for those people that who would affect you. Don't create the opportunity you will be affected, even it's family. Mom asks you to go home for dinner. Mom, I'm busy. Keep yourself some space. Don't go as often and don't stay as long. You can't walk away from that any person. I was traveling in Switzerland. I was traveling together with my parents, but I still could leave them. I still could create that space between me and my mom. I still could choose to do the things which I like. And you can walk away from any person. Really, trust me, you can. Any energy that no longer serves you, you don't know how to, you can leave. If you don't know how to do that, look at the cat down the road. That is the best thing to do. Be mindful how you are feeding them. Be mindful what your attention are giving these undesirable identities. Be mindful of where you place your focus. Whatever you focus on grows. If you focus on the people who affect your mood, you are not focused on yourself. So stop feeding them your attention. I don't know if any of you have this resonate, like if you hate this person, you will think about him over and over and over. In that negative energy, you will think him like more than 100 times, thousands of times, even more times than somebody you love. Like you feed them so much attention and energy, and to let them grow, to feed them, to let them really have that power to override you. Does anybody do that? No? Okay, everybody is very rational.
Okay. I remember something like that, and I was an NLP guy and a coach, and I'm in this house, like my own apartment in China. I was losing it, and 2 hours had passed, and I was still like emotionally hijacked, and like 2 hours, 3 hours, and I was still like, ah! Hasn't happened for a very long time. I think it's been a couple of years now since I had that. But I won't forget, even as an NLP coachy person, I was at a point where I was like, this anger is too much, and yeah, happens.
Thank you for sharing, Adrian. You're very brave today. Well, then next time, maybe you can look at the cat down the road and you are like, yeah, I can do that. I can walk away. That's maybe a good anchor or little reminder.
Can I share something here, Xing?
Yeah, sure, Johnny.
So I arrived in Belgium a few weeks ago, and it was a bit of a reverse culture shock for me to deal with friends and people. And my brother refused to help me out with something simple as registering a car. And he basically gave us an explanation that, well, I got a call one day and the police said my car had a car accident, and it wasn't true. So somebody registered under my name. And I also remember one day I got a phone call from my brother, the police saying my brother had a car accident. And I was totally shocked by that. I mean, the earth fell down under my feet because, we lost our brother when he was 19 in a car accident. And he was referring to me because I was riding with his bike. And I said, oh yeah, I do understand. And I remember very well. But was it because I was riding your bike because of the registration, or was it because your brother had an accident? And he replied to me, I don't know, because this is a hypothetical question. And I felt very upset by that answer because this is my brother. And I came from China, where family is supposed to take care of each other. And at the same time, I was going really to a tough time going back in Belgium because being alone. So then I got to do some stuff with my friend who was also in a difficult situation, and I got anger in me. So I suddenly really started accumulating this anger, like why he can't do this, because this is not hard. So I ended up doing something very stupid. So I asked him one last time, and then he said, you know what, Johnny, maybe it's time for you to think about, you have, of course, an adventurous life, and being in China gave you many things, but also has cost you some things. Maybe it's time for you to find inner peace. Now, I've been through many things and I have found my inner peace. So that judgment was just too much. And I really was, so it was a message, right? So I sent him a message. Oh, okay. Ring, ring, ring. Johnny Bro Eyes is dead. That was a very stupid move, because immediately I got a call from him, and I was also upset I didn't want to pick up. So he tried to call again. Then he called my family. He called my buddy, and I basically said, I sent him a message. Look, of course I'm not dead, but emotionally I'm dead. And I felt that was okay as an answer, but it kept hijacking my thoughts, and I couldn't stop thinking about it. This is why I got angry. But it took me 3 days to realize that he became silent. First, I thought he was angry, but then I started thinking, you know what? I do remember how much of a trauma this was for him. So I contacted him, and it hurt me because he actually got back the same kind of symptom here. This, like, it's called, you have a pain in your chest with your heart in your rib cage because you have stress. So this came back to him. So I really hurt him, and I was just thinking from my perspective. So anyway, I'm helping him now because I've learned how to heal people from a distance. This is part of my own process. Having this in a reflection, yes. So it was not an easy thing, but in the end, I know it's going to bring us together closer, because this is going to help him get something out of this trauma. It's going to help me to get closer to him. But I just wanted to tell you that anger indeed can hijack you and can totally fog your brain and can make you do stupid things. So, and indeed, it's looking to the outside world to see what is really happening, to inner reflect, and then and don't feel bad to correct your mistakes. So that's what I'm doing. This is my sharing.
Very nice. Thank you for joining. I'm glad to hear that now you and your brother are still like very because you have very same like trauma experience, and now it brings you together. But I would
Just brings you together.
just like to point out at very first beginning, when you have the reverse cultural shock, when you just got back from China to Belgium, do you maybe like you said, okay, I'm so used to the Chinese family, like our family should help each other. I heard expectations.
Yes, for sure. I got to change my perception on relationships, change my perception on who am I as a person in society, what is expected from me. This here at Hofstede has 5 cultural dimensions. There's different things. And if I change my glasses, I wear Chinese glasses, look at myself, I recognize myself more. So there's a reason why all my Chinese friends say I have become an egg. I'm white on the outside, I've become yellow on the inside. So it's true, but I haven't lost the white part either. So I really am actually painfully seeing how, for example, China and Europe have difficulties in talking about things of the heart and getting caught in ideology. But I'm just as much passionate about creating that bridge by helping them to switch the glasses. So this is also why I'm working together at the European level to do some things at policy level with a cultural framework, as much as at the bottom, where just helping people to do business together. But anyway, yes, that's a short answer.
Yeah,
Very much so.
I would like to end on expand a little bit here. You feel angry because you think your brother could help you for small things. But That's who he is. That's where he is. That's where he's coming from. He has his reasons, which maybe not really 100% what he said to you about the past. But before he is a good brother to you, he need to be himself first. It's actually our expectations are hurting ourselves. Sometimes we forget that we expect more from people. We expect good and kind brothers. We like good families. We expect perfect partners, but sometimes they can't give more. That's where they are at there. So just a little bit add on, like we need to manage our expectations to others as well here. And I will talk more about this later in my point. Which this also lead to my next point. Don't try to change people around you. Don't try. If they're negative, you're unable to change them. You just aren't. Your mom will always think you are fat. You're not pretty enough. You're not white enough, like Asian mama really do that. We think we can change other people. So we spend all of our energy try to change them, try to explain them a better way of life. The only way somebody will change is when they see you living in a harmonious, beautiful, and happy and glorious life. The result is that, how did you do that? How can I be like that? What are you doing? What are your secrets? Then they will come to the point they want to change their life too. I share a little story. My dad used to be a very traditional guy, a typical hard worker, like save every penny he could and don't allow me to have any fun. We usually have nothing to talk about. I used to have a conversation with him how to enjoy life, how to traveling, how to live an open-minded life. He's just like, oh, that's capitalism propaganda. You need to work, work, work. And he's even very critical on me. I tried to change him. Never worked. But when he saw me having friends of the world, I speak 4 languages, and he saw me to challenge myself even when the first place of swing dance Jackie and Joe in France, and even singing on stage, he started to learn English secretly. And he told my mom he's also going to take her to traveling abroad. He also wants to see the world. Just 1 month ago, my parents had dinner with my best friend, which is a German couple, using English. Now, if I come home, he will say, oh, maybe can I help you to do some housework? Can I do something for you? Or these things can be done later. You can go have fun with your friends. The only way to influence them is to keep your energy high. And hopefully, you only can hope that they notice by responding with love and kindness. But don't get yourself sucked into changing them. You got to be able to discern your energy and deciding where you want to invest your energy. When you invest your time and your energy on someone, you hope will cultivate something, which is stimulation, which is happiness, which is social connection. If it's not happening, it has not happened there in 3 months, years, and stop expecting. Probably they are not going to give you what you want in this moment. If you put your energy that it takes your energy away, it's not a good investment. Well, it's same for people you might love, but you might just love them from distance. Everything is an energy investment. This don't mean you don't like them. It just means you need more space to take care of yourself first. And I will follow with my last point. We need to learn to practice compassion and forgiveness. Because what happens is somebody does something negative. They say something negative. It's just where they're coming from. They might be annoying, they might be mean, it might be vicious, but people are projectors. So they only project negative energy because that's how they feel themselves at the moment. You would never feel their energy unless you also feel that within yourself. What happens is we forgot those things are very negative, and we can drown on our dreams. We can just be very hard to deal with. What happens is we carry that energy with us because we want to rationalize why they did it. They did it because they're idiot. Why they couldn't do any better? They couldn't do any better because if they could, they would have done it in the first place. Try to accept who they are and where they are. Relate to Johnny's case, I would really say that's at very first beginning, like maybe your brother, that's what he thinks. And very first beginning, we could just accept, oh, okay, that's what my brother thinks. It's okay. I accept like his perspective views, to accept who they are and where they are. Forgiveness also brings the feeling of free and also other possibilities to the human spirit. You limit your possibilities when you are in that state, even if it's unconscious, even if there's someone you haven't forgiven from 5 years ago, you've kind of swept it under the rug. You need to forgive that person. That doesn't mean you need to write them or call them or talk to them. But unless you can let go of that situation and find neither what you learn from it or just be able to let go, you are carrying and harboring that negative energy from that person. The step to be able to transcend and deal with the negative people is forgive them, because you can only come from where they are. If somebody is negative and somebody is hateful, somebody is mean, somebody is vicious, somebody is angry, somebody is quick lose their canon, and that's who they are right now, what they are going to live in the way, not as you expected. This is really important because they need to be themselves first. And once again, it's our expectations are hurting ourselves. We forget that. We expect more from people. We sometimes we blame our parents. We expect good and kind, perfect parents. We expect a perfect partner who understands everything about you, to know everything about you, to take care of your emotions and do housework and handsome and rich. And sometimes they just can't deliver more. Then you can sit back and say, okay, what did I get out of this? What could I take away from this? Or can I just let this go? Can I just forgive? Can I just lower my expectations? That doesn't mean that this doesn't mean they're right. You are not making them right. You are making yourself free. There is a big difference. You don't need them to be right. You don't need actually have a conversation with them to tell them that why they're right, why you forgive them. No. You just need to be able to free yourself, because forgiveness is the alchemy of the soul. And the feeling of possibility returns to be human spirit. In summary, negativity will always pull you down. Hate will always pull you down. If you harbor hate back, if you judge them back, if you get negativity back. But if you can take a step back and forgive them for coming from where they come from, you will be free of it. Does anybody have any thoughts about this one? Learn to practice compassion and forgiveness and don't change them. Well, Darko says, Rather than change others, rather than accept the situation and improve yourself and your own behavior, lower the expectation is also good energy. That's very good. When you have the ability to take care of all your needs, when you have the ability to really keep your life balanced, when you don't have so much expectations like towards others, probably you will not get affected. Probably you will be very stable. Is there anybody want to share more, resonate, or your thoughts?
I want to share also that expectation are something that brings disappointment a lot. So if we have a big expectation from someone, if we do not meet expectation, then we got disappointment, and that brings negative energy. It is also connected with expectation from ourselves. So if I have a big expectation from me, then I will get disappointed if I do not achieve what I want.
Very good. Usually people will have expectation hangover. Thank you, Darko, for bringing this up. Like it's our own, you have expectation to yourselves, and you usually will have high expectations towards others as well. It's all connected. When you have so much needs for yourself and you expect more from others and you don't aware that, and you think like, oh, why
Just give it a second, Chewy back. I liked your point, Darko. It's very good. I mean, what she's saying as well, but lowering expectations. I mean, we're talking about raising expectations the other week, weren't we?
I don't know.
John, Mr. John, weren't we just talking about raising expectations 3 weeks ago?
Expectation or to lower the expectation, what to do with this expectation now? Last week, raise their expectation. Now lower your expectation. I'm really confused here. What should I expect?
Raise it, and when it's an issue, lower it.
Raise it to be lower.
Yeah.
The best thing is to have no expectation, just to see what's happened, what brings situation, and move the situation, keep the ball moving.
I believe that's easy to say. If it's very easy to say, like, don't have expectation or lower your expectations so you'll not get disappointment. It's easy to say. But if someone you really care about, so you expect, like, you want to help him, you cannot just ignore him and sit aside and see him struggling or suffering.
Yes.
So that's by default, you expect to help him. And when you see you are not helping him, it will get you disappointed, but not because, like, he didn't change, because you weren't able to help him. So you cannot lower your expectation that's low, I can say. It depends on your values.
Gentlemen, I would just like to throw a point in here. I think there's a little bit of a false realization of what an expectation is. An expectation that's not confirmed by somebody else is often unrealistic. If you have a partner and you have established a system of doing something, then there's an expectation that you would continue to do that. And if you're not going to do it, you should communicate and say, well, I'm not going to do that today. So unrealistic expectation is what I think we're talking about a lot of the time. People develop their own expectation within themselves and actually build it up quite often to be greater than what is from the other side. And I think that's what we're talking about is, you know, there's an old formula, as Darko said, disappointment equals expectation unfulfilled, a basic one in psychology. And then we move to the next level is unrealistic expectation. And that's a factor of behavior of some human beings. So yes, we should have high expectation of ourselves with our growth and what we're doing. But I think they're three separate issues.
Do we expect that there's 2 more points? Sorry, Ying, you're back. Jumped out for a moment.
Yeah. Well, I do have more points, but for now, I would like to have a breakup room for everybody because I give so much input to you guys, but what do you think? It's more important. What you learned and which point or which parts you resonate the most. So I would like you guys have 5 minutes for break rooms, and I text in the chat box. You can discuss what you learned, which point you resonate the most, and then you're more than welcome to come back and share with everybody. Adrian, can you do it for me, please?
Yep, just a split second. And allow participants to. Yep. See, he's back here in a couple of minutes.
Is there any great thoughts any of you would like to share with us? We have 5 points.
Yeah, I want to share something. Oh, so you go ahead.
Okay, I just like to share that I kind of like this because some people think that the way we deal with negative people or negative energy from others is it's about them. So what Ying is sharing is largely us stepping up and taking responsibility for it in different ways, and I think that's perhaps a bit nervous, but awesome because we really can take responsibility and come at this with different angles rather than just think it's like a them problem. Like, good on you. Like, so Camilla?
Thank you.
Well, what Adrian said was really interesting because for me and a lot of my friends, we often think about like, why are we attracting that kind of negative people? And we blame ourselves for shrinking our own boundaries. So I think for me personally, it's super helpful to learn to practice self-forgiveness. And another thing I wanted to share was about not trying to change other people. For example, I am a health coach, but my mom kept telling me how to eat. Like, I taught people nutrition, but she keeps telling me about how to eat food. So that was kind of frustrating for me. But I remember since how long I stopped telling her what to eat and all these theories and knowledge about nutrition. And I just think there are things that there are lessons that we cannot learn for them. So if one day, for example, my mom has some health condition that needs my help, I'll always be there, but I won't try to change her everyday diet because that might also be a source of her daily happiness, that maybe that food is not super healthy, but that brings her joy. So I felt I was also in no place to teach her how to live her life, because our lifestyle is all based on a lot of our desires.
Thank you, Camilla. That was wonderful. Yeah, you're right. You can only help her if she want you, if she let you, if she won't be helped. And before that point, you can't. And if you want to lift her towards to the goal, the life she want to live with, but ultimately she has the power. She's the one who decides if she's going to react on it, even if you in the future well, like she have conditions, you want to help her, but she is the one, remember, you only can help, but she's one going to decide if she's going to move or not. That power is in her hand. So when you lift other people also without any expectations, just accept how they receive your help. That's what I want to add on. And regarding to another point, why we attract, like also like we attract, because everybody knows the law of attraction, why we attract negative people. Maybe because we have negativities inside of ourselves. Maybe we need be more like self-awareness. What is really every thoughts in our mind are positive? Is every thoughts in our mind are very, very free? Is really we are setting ourselves up? That's also a very good point. And there's one point I would also like to add on here. Actually, energy is no positive or negative. Energy is energy. In Psychoats, it's called yuja. Sorry. Priya is not here. If she's here, she's going to kill me. In Sanskrit, it's called uja. And every living being and non-living being has an energy. Uja means life force. You are uja. You are energy. You are not body or sense. You are energy. You close your eyes, you sit in meditation. Your energy will be so big. It will be everywhere. Your soul is uja. That has nothing to do with positive or negative. And enlightenment is beyond positive and negativity. They both don't exist. The only energy will exist. The energy is you. And it can be quiet, it can be calm, can be peaceful. Then the whole world can be peaceful. The whole universe can be calm and peaceful. Then there's no waves of attacking. There's no wave of negativity. Because energy will be where calm and peaceful. And that's what enlightenment is. Where there's peace, where there's calm, where there's love, where there's no violence, you have the beautiful energy already. It's actually ourselves. We are negative or positive. It's never about the energy. How do you guys feel about this one?
Yeah. Hi, Ying. I agree with you. I sort of have a concept that I work at is that we can either, if we're calm and a person who can have like the techniques often with NLP to not have our emotions stimulated, that we stay calm and in mental control, then we don't project negative energy. So I feel, but once, if we are positive in our attitude, we can actually project energy, which others can feel. And some of the things that I notice is that, one, if you have a smile on your face, you can't feel negative if you're smiling. This is something I've found about me. I don't know how others feel. So the first thing, if you want to project, is put a smile on your face, and it changes the way that you deal. That's just something I found.
Yeah, very nice. Thank you, Jay, for sharing that. Which I can ask another question according to this, but I will ask later, because before that, I have something to ask you guys to do. According to what you just learned, there are a couple of steps you are going to implement what you learned, right? Because whatever I say is mine. Whatever I say is not yours. So I will give you 4 steps. And now I'm going to invite you for a free discussion, how to implement a couple of steps you're going to react differently when people are treating you negativity. First, how to identify negativity energy. Like what is negativity energy? What if somebody says something? Do you have the awareness? Oh my God, what he's saying, it might cost me some actions. It might be trigger me. This is something. Do you see the sign? It's coming. And when you see the sign, how to keep yourself balanced? How do I not let myself affect that? And what do I do in my daily life to keep myself balanced? And we have 5 ways how to handle them, which means you have more than 5 tools you can use. So if you recognize that the negative energy is coming and you have a balanced body and mind, how you can deal with it, which tool you are going to use, and how you can respond better. So now I would like to invite everybody to have a free discussion how to implement the steps. I send it in the chat box so everybody is clear, and come back. I would like to invite more people to sharing how you are going to do, how you are going to react differently. Is everybody clear? We have a breakout room, maybe for 10 to 15 minutes. 10 minutes, Adrian? 10 minutes, okay. So you have 10 minutes to discuss how to identify negative energy, how to keep yourself balanced, which
Leo.
tool you're going to use, and how to respond better.
Leo,
Okay.
minute 6.
Hello, welcome back.
Some of them will be like, that wasn't long enough.
Yeah, I know. We covered quite a lot today, right? And also, if you are interested in how to handle your own negative energy, if you have your own negative energy, what should you do? Or you would discuss more about how to implement what I just said on yourself, you are more than welcome to contact me, arrange a personal one-to-one strategy call, or if you have any problems to talk regarding to this, you find some problems need to be talked or some trauma need to be healed, you're more than welcome to contact me. I put my WeChat in the chat box, and now you have my contact. We can arrange a one-to-one session to discuss more about this topic or what other topic you like.
That will conclude our official session, so we're on time in case anyone's going for a hot dinner date or something really cool, you know. And thank you very much for coming.
And